Welcome to my mathematics class 6, semester 2, fractions. Up to the previous video, we have solved many problems and started exercise 7.3. So we will continue today solving the problems in exercise 7.3. Up to 7 problems we have solved yesterday. So today we start solving from 8th problem. The 8th problem is given like this. 8th problem. Ramesh had 20 pencils. Sheelu had 50 pencils. And Jamal had 80 pencils. After 4 months, Ramesh used up 10 pencils. Sheelu used up 25 pencils. And Jamal used up 40 pencils. What fraction did each use up? Check if each has used up an equal fraction. So we will tabulate the data like this. Number of pencils they had at the beginning. Pencils used up after 4 months. So Ramesh had 20 pencils at the beginning. After 4 months, he used up 10 pencils. Sheelu had 50 pencils at the beginning. After 4 months, she used up 25. Jamal had 80 pencils at the beginning. After 4 months, he used up 40 pencils. So what fraction of the pencils they had used up? So in the first video we learned how to write a fraction. So to write a fraction, we will write the number of equal parts, total equal parts. Here number of total pencils 20. We want the fraction of pencils used up. Therefore, number of pencils used up is written on the top. So, number of pencils used up here 10. So, total number of pencils initially they had. Number of pencils used up in course of time in 4 months. That is the fraction of number of pencils used up by Ramesh. So, 10 by 20. Converting it into smallest terms, dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 10, we get 10 divided by 10, 1, 20 divided by 10, 2. So, half of the pencils were used up. The fraction of used up pencils by Ramesh is half. Similarly, Sheelu had 50 pencils at the first and used up 25. Therefore, the fraction is 50 total number of pencils in the bottom below the horizontal line and number of pencils used, the fraction to be found out, written on the top. Therefore, 25 by 50. Both are divisible by 25. Therefore, we can write it as simplest form as 25 divided by 25 by 50 divided by 25. 25 divided by 25 is 1, 50 divided by 25 is 2. Therefore, half is the fraction they used up, the pencils they used up. Similarly, Jamal used up 40 pencils out of 80. So, total number of pencils 80 and pencils used up are 40. Therefore, the fraction of the pencils used up 40 by 80. This is divisible by 40. Therefore, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 40. So, 40 divided by 40 by 80 divided by 40 is equal to 1 by 80 divided by 42. So, all had used up half of their pencils by the end of 4 months. So after 4 months they have used up the same fraction of the pencils. Thus we can solve this problem. So going to the next problem, 9th one. 9th, match the equivalent fractions and write 2 more for each. They have given some fractions and asked to match the equivalent fractions. Some of the fractions are equivalent. Therefore, match the equivalent fractions and write some more equivalent fractions for them. Write 2 more of for each. So, 9th, match the equivalent fractions. Match the equivalent fractions. And write 2 more of for each. And write 2 more for each. Number 1A, 250 by 400. 250 by 400. B, this is first one, 250 by 400. 2, 180 by 200. 3, 660 by 990. 4, 180 by 360. 5, 220 by 550. 220 by 550. This side A, 2 by 3. B, 2 by 5. C, 1 by 2. D, 5 by 8. 5 by 8. E, 9 by 10. If we observe all these fractions, the fractions in the right side are all in their simplest form. These are all in their simplest form. See, 2 by 3. They both have only 1 as common factor. No other common factor is there. Therefore, 2 by 3 is in its simplest form. 2 by 5. 2 and 5 also have only 1 as common factor. Therefore, 2 by 5 is the simplest factor, simplest form of a fraction. 1 by 2. 1 and 2 have only 1 as common factor. Therefore, 1 by 2 is in its simplest form. 5 by 8. 5 and 8 has only 1 as common factor. Therefore, 5 and 8 are in 5 by 8 is the simplest form of a fraction. 9 by 8. They have only 1 as common factor. Therefore, 9 by 8 is a simplest form of a fraction. Therefore, we need not change it. Now, we will convert these left side fractions into their simplest form and see which one is matched to the fraction in this side. So, to convert 250 by 400, we will divide with their factors. 250 by 400, first it divides by 10. Therefore, dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 10, 400 by divided by 10, this is equal to 25 by 40. And again it is divided by 5 because 25 is divisible by 5, 40 is divisible by 5. Therefore, so dividing it by 5, both the numerator. 25 divided by 5, 5. 40 divided by 5, 8. 5 8s are 40. So 8. This is the simplest form. No common factors for 5 and 8 other than 1. Therefore, simplest form of 250 by 400 is equal to 5 by 8. So this 1 is matched with this one, D. 1 is matched with D. Next we find for 180 by 200. 180 by 200. We will take the HCF of 180 and 200. Highest common factor. So highest common factor is 180. The factors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 is not a common factor. 8 is a factor. 8 is a common factor because 2 and 4 are factors. 8 is a factor. 8 and 10. 9 is also a factor. 10 is a factor. 11 is not a factor. It is not divided by 11. 12. Is 12 a factor? Yes, because 6 and 2 are factors. 12 is also a factor. 13. No, 13 is not a factor. 14 is not a factor. Because 7 is not a factor, 14 is also not a factor. 15 is a factor. Because 3 and 5 are factors, 15 is also a factor. 180. 15 is a factor. 16 is also a factor because 8 and 2 are factors, 16 is a factor. 17 is not a factor. 18 is a factor because 9 and 2 are factors. 18 is also a factor. Next, 20. 19 is not a factor. 20 is a factor. So these are all factors of 180. And for 200, 1 is a factor of all. And as it is an even number, 2 is a factor. And 3 is not a factor because the sum of the digits is not divisible by 3. Sum of the digits 2 plus 0 plus 0, 2, not divisible by 3. Therefore 3 is not a factor. 4 is a factor because the last 2 digits zeros. 4 is a factor. 5 is a factor because the units place 0. Therefore 5 is a factor. Next 6 is not a factor because 3 is not a factor. 6 also not a factor. 7 is not a factor. 8 is a factor because at the last 2 digits 0, that is divisible by 4 and 2. And 4 and 2 are also factors. 8 is a factor. 9 is not a factor. 10 is a factor. 11 is not a factor. And 12 is not a factor. 13 is not a factor. 14 not a factor. 15 once 5 0, 15 is not a factor. 16 is not a factor. 17 not a factor. 18 is not a factor. 19 is not a factor. 20 is a factor. 20 is also a factor. Still there are factors. 20 is a factor. Next 40 is a factor. 40 is a factor. Next 50 is a factor. 50 is also a factor because 200. 200s. So for 150 is a factor. And 100 is a factor. 200 is a factor. Here also 90 is a factor. 45 is a factor. 50 is not a factor. 90 is a factor. 180 is a factor. These are all facts. Now observe which are common. 1 common, 2 common, 4 common, 5 common, 6 common, 8 common. Any other common factors? 10, 20, 40, 10, 20. 20 is common. 10 is common, okay. It is okay, 10 is common. 20. 40 is not a common factor. 50 is also not a common factor. 100 is also not a common. So the highest or greatest common factor for these two is 20. Highest common factor HCF. Highest common factor HCF is 20 for these 180 and 200. Therefore, by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor of the numerator and denominator, we get the simplest form of its fraction, 200 by 20. Therefore, 180 by 20 is equal to 9. 200 by 20, 200 by 20 is 10. 200 by 20 is 10. So 9 by 10 is in its smallest terms. Smallest terms. So 9 by 10. 180 by 200 is equal to 9 by 10. 180 by 200 is equal to 9 by 10. This fraction is equivalent to this fraction. So equivalent fractions can be found by two methods. By dividing, go on dividing small factors, common factors, or finding the HCF of both the numerator and denominator, we can divide and get the smallest terms. So for the next one, so to find the simplest form of a fraction, we have to divide both the numerator and the denominator by HCF. Numerator divided by HCF, denominator divided by HCF. HCF means highest common factor. Whose highest common factor? Highest common factor of the numerator and denominator of the given fraction. Okay. Now we will see this 660 divided by 990. This we can easily simplify like this. 660 is divided by 10. Therefore 660 divided by 10 by 990 divided by 10 is equal to 66 by 99. Again both are divided by 11. Therefore 66 divided by 11 by 99 divided by 11 divided by 11 by 11. 66 divided by 11, 6. 99 divided by 11, 9. Now 6 and 9 have a common factor 3. Therefore we will divide numerator and denominator by 3. So 6 divided by 3, 2. 9 divided by 3, 3. Therefore simplest form of the fraction 660 by 990 is 2 by 3. 2 by 3. Where is 2 by 3? This one, first one. So the third fraction is equivalent to this. Next, fourth, 180 by 360. 180 by 360. Now you are accustomed to simplify the factors easily. Now 0 and 0. If we divide both the numerator and denominator by 10, we get 18 by 36. But 36 is 2 times 2, 18. Therefore 18 ones, 18 twos. Therefore this is equal to 1 by 2. So 180 by 360, 1 by 2. This is 4. So the last one, 220 by 550 must be equal to 2 by 5. Let us check. 220 by 550. Here both are divided by 10. Therefore we get 22 by 55. And both are divided by 11. 11 twos and 11 fives. Therefore this is equal to 2 by 5. So 220 by 550 is equal to 2 by 5. Okay. Now they have asked to write 2 more equivalent fractions. We will do that. 2 more equivalent fractions for each of the fraction. So for first 2 by 3 fraction, 2 by 3, we will multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2. 2 into 2 by 3 into 2. That is equal to 4 by 6. Is an equivalent fraction. Next again you multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3. 3 into 3. That is equal to 3 to 6. 3 3 is 9. So 2 by 3 is equivalent. 660 by 990 is equal to 2 by 3 is equal to 4 by 6 is equal to 6 by 9. So 2 by 3 is 660. 660 by 990 is equal to 2 by 3 is equal to 4 by 6 is equal to 6 by 9. Thus we can write for a second one also. 180 by 200. 180 by 200 is equal to 9 by 10. 9 by 10. So that is equal to multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 2. 9 into 2. 9 into 2, 18 by 10 into 2. 18 by 20. Again multiplying by 3. 9 into 3 by 10 into 3. That is equal to 9 3 is 27 by 30. Thus we had two other equivalent fractions. Similarly, you can do, you find out the equivalent, two equivalent fractions for each of the fraction for half, 5 by 8 and 9 by 8. Okay. Revise these problems once again and watch the next video. Thank you.